gorgeously easy card for you today, showing off some of our new dies, and I think they're just stunning. So let me introduce them to you. We have the Blushing Rose from our Finishing Touches range. The Cathedral background, we're going to use the oval in there to cut an aperture. The sentiment comes from Phil Martin's Decadent Damask Birthday Verses. And we're going to do a bit of embossing with the Rambling Blossoms A4 embossing folder from Creative Expressions. So I think I'll start with that. We'll do our embossing first. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've used the outer oval in this cathedral background to cut an aperture in a piece of white card. And you want to do that before you do your embossing. I'm going to pop it into our embossing folder, and this is just a random floral pattern, so you can put it in there anyway. And the sandwich is the base plate, the folder with the card, and the raspberry adapter. Run that through. Now, I have had a few people ask me recently about sandwiches for embossing folders, so just to give you a quick idea, the raspberry plate is used with the A4 embossing folders, and you don't need a tan mat. But if you're going to do smaller folders, the 6x8 sort of size, or maybe even 8x8 sort of size, you will need to use a tan mat in there to get your proper embossing. I personally prefer to use the Creative Expressions white adapter plate when I do that sandwich, just so it doesn't get too tight. The raspberry can be used, but if you find your machine's a little tight, then you might want to substitute the base plate for the pink embossing plate, and that'll help it. So, but for this one, you just need the raspberry. So I've got a beautiful emboss on that, so that I can start with right there. I'm going to bring in my sentiment. I've already stamped it with a black Archival onto a piece of white, coconut white card. And we are going to cover it with a piece of double-sided sticky adhesive. Let me just get this peeled. There we go. Pop that right over the top of that. Give it a good press. And now I'm going to peel the other side up, exposing the adhesive. Okay. And I'm just going to give it a good sugaring using our Diamond Snow. So let's just pop a piece of copy paper underneath there. And the Diamond Snow is our finest granule size in our white glitters, in our crystal glitter jewels. And I'm just going to give that a nice coating so you can see that's really pretty. You can easily read through it, so it's nice just to add a little bling. Put this back into our container. There we go. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is, rather than just putting this directly over that, I thought I would add a bit of an inside frame to it. So I'm using a piece of raspberry card here, and we're just going to use the smaller of the ovals and pop this into place. And I'll give it some tape to make sure it stays where I want it. About like that. And you can check this. I mean, if you're off a little bit, you can trim the edge. That won't show. That looks really nice like that. Run that through. Okay. Now, the next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to have the raspberry and the white really pop with a little bit of black, and I'm going to use that on my flowers, so I thought it would be nice to bring it into the frame as well. However, I only have 2 oval sizes in there, and I've just used both of them. So what I've done is I've cut 2 more ovals out of black, and I'm just going to offset them a little bit so that one of them is on the top like this, just giving a little bit of a shadow up here, and the other one is offset like this. So you get a really nice look, and you'll just have it coming in at the sides. So I'll end up with this sort of look right like that. So you can use the same shape oval, but just offsetting it a little bit, you can bring it in as a shadow and just kind of treat the eye to a little bit extra of the color portions that you've got on your card there. So I'm going to seat this over the sentiment that I've glittered, peeling off my mounting foam back here. And then I'm going to use some of the Cosmic Shimmer glue just to make sure it seats on there nicely, because I've got that glitter. And anytime you have stuff stuck to glitter, you have to use an extra bit of glue to it. Peel off these little bits. And that'll just help the inside of that oval stay upright. There we go. Oh, one more. And a little bit of glue on those as well. Okay. I'm going to center that right over my sentiment. That looks pretty good. Okay. Bring in my base piece. And I'm going to actually put a black mat down below this, so it'll just sort of peek out around the edge. Oops, pop that into place. And I think a little bit of Cosmic Shimmer glue on the back of this gives me some sliding ability before it sets up. Put that down. Just let me peek over and see if I'm even. That looks pretty good there. Okay, so now I've got the basis of the card done. I'm going to add the floral element to this. So I'm using my blushing rose for this. I've gone ahead, taped it onto a piece of black card. Now there's an inner and an outer die on this. Line them up together, and I'm going to go ahead and cut these. There we go. And removing all of our tape gently. I can probably reuse that. There we go. Let me bring this out and put it away. There we go. And my rose. So you can see I've got a really nice rose with beautiful outline. I've used just the outer piece to cut the backing for it, so I will glue those together. I'm just going to use a little bit of spray glue because the area is quite fine there. There we go. And then you just need to, because it's an organic shape, just work out the design, which way it needs to go until you get it right. Rotate it a little bit until you find exactly where it lines up. That's it right there. There you go. Give that a nice press. And I'm going to do a little bit of forming with this. So I'm going to bring in my, my mat here. I'll move these out of your way. And my flower shaping tool. So I'm going to just work it around in a circular motion and give it some dimension. Go. Okay, so we've got a nice little rounded rose for it. And then we can pop some mounting foam on the back of that. In fact, I've got one here, so we can use these. Already done. So I've got 3 different sizes here. I'm going to use 2 of the smaller ones on the top. And just sort of overlap them ever so slightly there. And then I've got a larger one here. I'm going to seat that in the middle, off just an opposite, and we'll do a couple more around it. Just turn them any direction you like. And I'll put a little one on this side. I think that's really pretty. And just to finish it off, the blushing rose comes with several of these leaves, so I've got them cut. And I'll just grab a couple more of them underneath my stuff here and bring them around. There's a single and a double leaf that you can use. I've got them all cut in doubles, but you can easily cut these if you prefer. And we'll just add them in underneath the roses. Tuck them around there. You can give them a little bit of forming if you like to. And let's put one under here. Oops. Tuck it right under the edge. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll trim one of them down so you can just see a single. Pop that into place. Cut a little bit off that. We can have a single leaf coming off. Put a few more around and just right under the edge of the rose. I think it makes such a pretty accent. And under here, there we go. Tip that one up a little bit more. Lovely. Absolutely love the way that looks. And I think the roses, because they're so vibrant, just really pop out around that aperture. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this one today, and we do have a lot of videos on our Creative Expressions YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook page that you can go to and like us, and I hope you'll join us again soon.